Hey, what's cooking, Jay?
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us again at Gunter's Kitchen. Today we're gonna surprise my daughter. She's coming over and I know she loves scrolls. So we're making apple and walnut scrolls for her. I'm sure she's gonna like it. The dough, same as all the other scrolls or similar to all the other scrolls we made. We've got our baker's flour, our plain flour, our milk, our sugar, and the yeast. We dissolve the yeast. I just use the spatula. It's looking for the whisk around, but that's fine. We just let that sit for a minute until the yeast starts activating. Yeast is frothing up a bit. So now we put everything together. We put the liquid with the flour and the sugar, 2 eggs, the butter, and you find the recipe attached in the description. So please look it up. Put a pinch of cinnamon in there to give it a bit more extra flavor and a pinch of salt. Done. And now we let it run. Put it in a machine. Hook on. Put it on slow until everything has mixed in. It's all more or less incorporated. Now we can turn it up a bit. And then we let it run and it comes until it comes loose from the edge of the bowl. So when the dough comes loose from the edge, as you can see, as it does now, you will also hear a different sound. It almost sounds like the dough is slapping against the bowl. And then it's ready to take out. All right, let's take it out. So it's run nearly 8 minutes. As you can see, the dough, it's very nice and silky. Wet your hands, and then it comes easily off the hook, as you can see. And then we take it out in the wash. And now, because we leave it to rise for half an hour in the bowl. So what I do is just, I add a little bit of flour on the edge, take my card, and just clean it down from the side. All right? So like this. And as you can see, it's beautiful, silky dough. It's quite soft. It's just because the butter, when the butter warms up, it of course makes the dough more runny. All right? So now, let's let it rest or rise for half an hour. And then we'll roll it out. In the meantime, we're roasting our walnuts. So I've got a packet of walnut pieces. I probably won't use them all, but I might as well roast them all. So now we put them on the tray. Then I put them on 180 in the oven until they just get slightly brown. Do not roast them too much. But roasted, they're so much nicer than raw walnuts. Raw walnuts, they're quite bitter, but they're much more delicious when they're roasted. Okay, so the dough is nearly ready. So now let's prepare our filling. So what we do is we're grating some apples. We're having 250 grams of brown sugar. We've got 100 grams of the roasted walnuts, sort of chopped up to small bits, and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Okay, so what I find is the easiest way to grate the apples is you cut the top and the tail first. Yeah? And then you just use your grater and just run it down and grate it. So let's do all those apples and then we mix everything together. I've grated the apples and I squeezed them out. And the juice from the apples we keep to make our topping because we're making some nice caramelized apples and walnut we put on top of the scrolls. And now we're just adding the lemon zest and the juice we're adding to the topping. Time to roll out. Put the flour down as always. Pastry, if you don't put enough flour down, it will stick to your bench. And then you are in trouble. Beautiful, beautiful dough. Very, very silky, quite soft. So be careful when you roll it. Make sure you use flour. Okay? After the dough is, the moister the outcome of the scrolls. Roll it into a rectangle like we did with the other scrolls we made. And look how easy it is to roll out. Okay, then you fold it over again. And make sure you have got flour underneath. And that will do. It's quite deep. But when we roll it, it gets a lot of scrolls. I've got soft butter. Start like this, and then I use my palette knife. That's 250 grams soft butter. And with this implement, it's very easy to do. See? You just push it a bit as if you butter a sandwich. Just want to make sure you go all the way to the edge, because otherwise the first slice or so, it's going to be a bit dry. Brown sugar. 70 grams sugar, and then we adding our apples and lemon. Now it's up to you how many apples you would like in there. If you want to have it just heavier in the cinnamon scroll way, you add less apples. But I like apples because also the apples make it nice and moist. And now we're adding our cinnamon and walnut mix. Just make sure you mix the cinnamon with the walnuts well before you put it on. The important part is that you have got cover in one line. It doesn't matter which line it is, because when you roll it up, everyone will get something. Let's roll it up. You could, of course, put this on like we did at the strudel. You could put it on the tablecloth, like, you know, when we roll up the strudel in one go. That's also a way to do it. If you're worried that it will stick to your bench, I'll try to keep it tight. Yeah? So every time I roll up, I sort of pull it back a bit, pull it back and roll it up. Yeah? And then when you go to the end, you have to try to be further out than this. Yeah? So you can actually drag it a bit, and that's it. It smells like apple pie, basically. Or like strudel. Absolutely scrumptious. What I find the easiest is I just measure approximately where half is, and then with a thin bladed knife, I cut it in half. You can of course use a string like a lot of people do, but I think this works just fine. Alright? So now we just cut it in bits like this. See how many we get out, and if there is some left at the end, we'll use another tin. Filling looks very nice, I have to say. Okay, so we got 16 and a smidget out of it. So now we just put some tea towels on top and we let them rise. Okay, so now for the topping. We're just using, let's start with the Granny Smith. As you probably noticed, I mixed the apples. I like the tartness of the Granny Smith, but I also like the falling apart, getting really soft of the Royal Gala. We dice the apples for the topping. So we just peel the apple and then we cut it small, but not too small, because you want to see the top. You want to see the apple and the walnut on top, more or less as a garnish, but also to taste delicious. So now, basically, cut it like this. That's the size you want them. Okay. So we're taking our apple juice, or the juice from the squeezed out apples, our lemon. We're adding 4 tablespoons of brown sugar, a pinch of cinnamon. Not too much. We just don't want to overpower everything. Now we let that reduce until it gets really thick, almost like a caramel. I've put another little frying pan on with 1/3 of a cup of white sugar and a splash of water. Now we're turning this into a little caramel for the walnuts. Just when it starts to get slightly brown, we're adding our walnuts and then we turn it off. Now it's time to add our apples. Do not add the apples too early, otherwise they're drawing too much water. Now we turn it off, we add our walnuts. And I add about half of them, and that should be plenty. So now what I'm going to do is I'll take those walnuts and put them on the paper So now we just have to reduce the apples until almost all the liquid has disappeared. And our topping is done. They have risen. Beautiful. So now we put them in the oven. Just drizzling it with cream. Okay, that's just perfect. And then we put it in the oven, 170 degrees, maybe about 20 minutes. We'll see. We check them after 15. The scrolls are done. Let's take them out of the oven. Okay, so my apple and caramelized walnut scrolls are finished. They look great, and let's try what they taste like. Just like apple pie or apple strudel. Absolutely delicious. Very moist, very light. So please have a go. Try them. Not very difficult to make, but worthwhile. Leave a comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. And I'll see you soon at Gunter's Kitchen on YouTube. Bye for now.